Hello everyone, welcome to Apti Plus Academy for Civil Services. It's a video on monthly policy review which is released by PRS Legislative Research, and this is the MPR for the month of May. MPR is an important document which is released by PRS, and this will help you specifically in general studies paper and the prelims examination, right? So it's a more of a comprehensive video that will give you an insight about the recent bill that was proposed by the government of India. And the May edition, where we are discussing, see, whatever news that is there for the entire month, the PRS institution releases by end of that. So May edition comes usually in the month of June. So I think most of you who are watching the video for a regular time must be aware of the fact. Before I proceed, just to give you the brief about the PRS Legislative Research. It is founded in 2005. It's an independent research institute. It aims to strengthen the legislative process. It provides for independent support to the member of parliament in helping them to get the legislative process done, and even providing the legislature by releasing the detailed data analysis. This is based in New Delhi. For more details, you can refer to the website also. And if you are new to our channel, do not forget to subscribe Apti Plus Academy for Civil Services on YouTube. If you like this video, if you find this video informative and helpful, do hit the like button. So starting the session, the first article, that is City Investment to Innovate, Integrate and Sustain, that is Cities 2.0. Now something important specifically for both prelims and mains examination, you can expect question from both of the section. The Union Cabinet has approved the City Investment and Innovation and Integrate to part of the sustain. This is called Cities 2 for a period of 4 years. So this timeline is again important, 4 years. The program has been conceived by the Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs or partnership की अगर बात करें, the partnership institutions include AFT, KfW, which is a German bank, European Union and National Institute of Urban Affairs. The financial outlay for Cities 2.0 is included with a loan of 1760, that is 1760 crores from AFT, and other part also include the grant of 106 from the European Union. Now about the Cities 2.0, this was launched, talking about the previous one, that was Cities 1. It was actually launched in 2018. It's a subcomponent of the Smart City mission, which was launched in the 12 selected districts. So this is again factually important, relevant information. It focuses on building the infrastructure related project in the cities, जहाँ पे capacity building with the states, और उसके अलावा promoting, integrating urban management at the national level used to take place. Now some key aim of this policy, why government has come up with this and what are the intention. So first is providing the financial and technical support. The 18 smart cities proposed. Now they will be selected accordingly and to build a climate resilience and circular economy focusing on the waste management. This is the first most priority. Second is to assist the state as well as union territories उनके demand पर और facilitate की जाएगी climate data driven planning को, so that the necessary infrastructure and capabilities are built as per the demand of the urban local bodies. The third is assisting the center and the state and city to integrate the climate change governance in urban India. So this is the third most important priority. And the fourth is that the city seeks to supplement the climate action commitments through India with have national missions for sustainable habitat, Atal mission for renovation, Amrut, जैसे urban 2.0 के the part of the revamped is there, Swachh Bharat Mission 2.0 and the Smart City Mission. So this is again important. So the part of the commitment that has been made is something a collaborations of all these efforts. Now the other news, that is National Electricity Plan notified for 2022 and 23. These type of topic is directly relevant for your examination. Sometimes you get a direct question in the mains examination stating the features. So the Central Electricity Authority, that is also known as CEA, उन्होंने recently notified किया है National Electricity Plan. This is for the generation till 2022 and 32. So this is for a 10-year duration. The broad perspective has been designed. And CEA is required to formulate the National Electricity Plan once in a 5 year under the Electricity Act of 2003. The plan provides for review of last 5 years capacity additions requirement and the projects for the period for 2027 and 2032. Now, some of the key features that has been proposed. First is the current installed capacity. If you see, as on March 31st, 2022, India has installed the capacity of about 4 lakh megawatt. So this number is important. It is 4 lakh megawatt, right? So you can accordingly note this point, because if you're writing, you can mark this as an underline. Coal, renewable energy resources, and the nuclear constitute among 51, 39, and 2. These are the respectively installed capacity. The target for 2017 and 22 has not yet been made, जो पहली targeted की गई थी because of the COVID-19 pandemic. Some target has not yet. Now, under the National Electricity Plan of 2018, the target was scheduled for the generations of the capacity for conventional sources, which include coal, gas, and nuclear. And this was about 50,000 megawatt. However, the actual capacity that is only 30,000 megawatt. So again, the shortfall of 20,000 megawatt still exists. Installed capacity from renewable energy sources, जो plan की गई है, as per the plan, India has signed the potential for the generation of renewable energy resources. Renewable energy is expected to contribute 35% of the energy by 26-27 and to raise this by 44%, right? So accordingly, आप यहाँ पे जो पंचामृत के initiatives गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया ने लिए हैं वो जरूर देख लें. This was during COP26. This will help you. Now, measures should be taken to attract the private sector, and more funds should be allocated to support research and development in renewable energy. Required capacity additions की अगर बात करें, the project capacity requirement for 27-32 is to meet the peak demand by 2031 and 32 for 3 lakh megawatt. Or additional coal capacity की अगर बात करें, so the coal capacity is about 27,000 megawatt, and additional requirement will accordingly vary upon the demand, which will be something from present it is 19, expected to reach up to 27,000. Emissions, the average CO2 emissions for the coal-based station has been declining, indicating the improvement in efficiency and the generations from the coal-based power plants. Now, the other news, that is Foreign Exchange Management Current Account Transition Amendment Rule 2023. The Finance Ministry has notified the Foreign Exchange Management Rule to amend the part of the Foreign Exchange Management Current Account Transition 2000. So this was an earlier provision upon which the complete regulation was made. And this rule provides for certain transitions in the foreign exchange require a prior approval of the RBI. तो रिजर्व बैंक ऑफ इंडिया के बिना अप्रूवल के बहुत सारी चीज़ें जो ट्रांजिशंस हैं वो नहीं की जा सकती थी. बहुत सारी चेंजेस की गई. Even the changes have proposed for the exemptions on the part. We'll discuss that. Now, liberalized remittances scheme, that is also known as LRS. Now, what is this LRS? The individual can remit up to 2,50,000 US dollar in a financial year under the liberalized remittances scheme. और इस स्कीम के अंदर जो प्राइवेट विजिट्स होंगी इन एनी कंट्री विच इंक्लूड गिफ्ट्स, डोनेशंस, इमिग्रेशंस एंड स्टडीड अब्रॉड विल बी इंक्लूडेड, एंड एनी remittances upon this limit would need an RBI approval. तो 2,50,000 तक की अगर यूएस डॉलर में आपने इन्वेस्टमेंट की, दैट डज नॉट रिक्वायर अ प्रायर अप्रूवल. Now, under the 2000 rule, जो पुरानी रूल्स की अगर बात करें, they were actually when making payment abroad through international card, that was exempted from the need to secure with the RBI prior approval. Now, 2023 amendment has removed this as a part of exemptions. Now they will be able to do that. By removing the exemptions, the part of all credit and transition will be included in LRS, and will increase the part of tax collections from 20% from 1st of July 2023. So these are the changes. उसके ऊपर अगर limit cross होती है, then you have to pay the certain charges. The Ministry of Finance has clarified that the spending of 7 lakh rupees in a financial year and international credit debit will not attract a tax collection at the sources. So, like when if you're working for freelance or you're a gig worker, there's a TDS that is deducted, and that is tax deduction at sources, right? So this is something work for in this case where 20% something that will be charged. Now the news, that is amendment to Green Energy Open Access Rule. The Ministry of Power, which is again concerned with the part of the rules and regulation when it comes to power sector, they have notified the Electricity Promotions Renewable Energy, और ये सेकेंड अमेंडमेंट रूल है. इस रूल के अंदर बहुत सारी फ्रेमवर्क्स बताई गई हैं. इट कॉल फॉर ओपन एक्सेस टू द रिन्यूएबल एनर्जी, which call for the sources like solar, wind, hydro, and waste to energy. Open access what by definition open access mean allowing a consumer to purchase electricity from the distribution company of its choice. Now only consumers with the demand or the sanctions load of 100 gigawatt or above are eligible under the framework except the capitative consumers. Now, what are the amendment that has been brought in? So the amendment add consumer with requirement to have a demand sanctions load of 100 gigawatt through a single connections. Second is the multiple connection aggregating the 100 kilowatt of the load in the same electricity divisions of the distributed license. Now cross subsidy surcharge की अगर बात करें, under the rule the consumer with access to green energy shall pay cross subsidy surcharge as per the central government tariff policies. So this is something that they will be liable. And the cross subsidy refers to the tariff structure where the group of consumer pay relative high charges. Now if you see the part of the coverage which will be there, so it cover cost to supply another group of the consumers. So this is something which is defined under the cross subsidies. Rules की अगर बात करें, the rules exempt green energy. See why? Because government is promoting the part of green energy, renewable energy, and utilization for the productions of green hydrogen and green ammonia from the cross subsidy is an additional surcharge. Now amendment that has been given the omitted as like it adds surcharge and it give applicable to the electricity produced and even the supplied upon the excess consumer from off-source where the commissionized in 2032. Another topic, another news, that is accessibility standard for the healthcare facilities. Ministry of Health and Family Welfare have notified the accessibility standard for the hospital and other healthcare institutions. यहाँ पे कुछ important standardization rules बनाई गई हैं, which will be under the Right of a Person with Disability Act 2016, right? Now, what are the key features? First, outpatient facility, जैसे OPD भी कहते हैं. The standard facilities requirement for the part of the outpatient facilities will be there. For examples, the form should be made readily available for the patients, while the hearing disability to request aid to the communication such as sign language interpreter. Now, whenever you reach out to any OPD hospital, any hospital, you have to first reach to the OPD, then you have to have to get your registration done. It take a lot of time, and even it is something that ultimately impact the patients as a such. So this is something which will help patients. The readily available or the prefixed availability will help in saving a time. Now, inpatient facilities की अगर बात करें, implantment facilities. So this called for standard prescription requirement, that is the hospital ward, bathroom, and other facilities. For example, the prescribed requirement for the height adjustability in the bed will be there. Even evacuations facilities will be there, so that the capabilities of accommodating the patients with disabilities, including the part of wheelchair, ramps, and large size will be there, so that the patients who are having some implications or complications can adjust. The bathroom in the hospital ward should be wheelchair accessible and equipped with the grab bars and lever-based control taps and faucets. These are very important because the patient who have undergone operation, they have a lot of limitations and they cannot access everything of their own. Now, medical equipments की अगर बात करें, the standard also specify features for necessary equipments. For example, अगर patients examinations rooms की बात करें, they will allow the clearance of wheelchair and other features to grab the bar support. Now, floor lift should be available to the top in moving and examining the patients with the locomotor disabilities. Now, radiologist diagnostic equipment such as MRI, that is magnetic resonance imaging, should be providing clear visual and audio signals to the patient. So these are some of the changes that has been proposed, and these changes are they will be actually suiting and the demand and the requirement for the current diseases, and it will help patients to get some of the major advantages. Draft Aircraft Bill 2023. The Ministry of Civil Aviation has released a draft Air Bill 2023 for public consultations और इस बिल के अंदर provisions रखी गई है that this bill will replace the Act of 1934. As per the ministry, the bill proposes to seek the current needs of the aviation regulations and specify provision in a simplified manner. If you see the provision which is there under this draft bill, first it's called for a consulting bodies. Recently, current provision is that the Director General of Civil Aviation and the Bureau of Civil Safety will be taken to the part of the safety specifically for the aviation sectors, regulating constructions of the building with tier near the airport. So the trees where there's around the airport, the part of the regulations in terms of the construction of the building will be there, and even for the it will need to ensure that the sustainability has to maintain the greenery environment has also to be something that will take into account. The emergencies power of the central government to protect the public health. Now, changes that has been proposed first is with regards to its applicability. So under the Act, the definitions for the aircraft include the machines supported by atmospheric reactions of the air. और ये include करेगी like fixed air balloons, airships, kites, gliders and flying machines, जहाँ पे drones भी इसके अंदर. The bill moved the part of free balloons, airships, kites, glider flying away from the definitions of aircraft. Now, rule making power की अगर बात करें, definitely it will be the central government. In addition to the rule making power, an attempt has been made and the central government has been empowered to make the rules. The rules can be drafted with regards to the airfares, aircraft registration and carriage of substances. The draft will seek to expand the part of the security oversight, scope of oversight functions of the DGCA and BCS, and the insurance of the radio telephone operator certificates and aircraft maintenance licenses. Appeal against the imposition of penalties, अगर कोई ऐसी provisions की अगर बात करें जहाँ पे penalties लगाई जाती है, if it is being found, then under that, if any person is aggregated, the penalty imposed by an officers may have an appeal to the higher ranking officers, and they'll proposes that an additional levy of appeal in case of dissatisfactions with an order of appellate officers can be done. The central government said had a final call when it comes to the final appellate authority. Now, Quad Health Security Partnership, again important. If you're preparing for next year, this type of news will be relevant. And even for the PSIR optional student, you can use this here and there whenever there's a Quad questions. The Quad Leader Summit joined the statement of the launching of the Quad Healthcare Security Partnership. It's a diplomatic network of 4 countries called for open, stable and prosperous Indo-Pacific. अगर बात करें members की, India, United States of America, Japan and Australia, these are the 4 members of the Quad. कई बार directly यहाँ पे सवाल पूछे जाते हैं. The new partnership and expansion for the Quad vaccines, and the partnership was launched actually in 2021. Significance क्या है? The vaccine partnership is placed to enhance the equitable access to vaccine in the Indo-Pacific region. The new partnership will strengthen the coordinated and collaborative support of the healthcare security to Indo-Pacific. The partnership plans to implement and build the regional capacity and to detect the outbreak of any future endemics or pandemics taking place. तो एक तरह से precautionary measures भी ली जा रही हैं, and the activities include the disease surveillance, coordinations, outbreak response, developing and supporting of the health workforce. And even the meeting for the G20 which is taking place, Government of India ने भी कहा है that हमें preventive measures लेने की ज़रूरत है, जहाँ पे इस तरह के pandemics की कोई भी any future perspective is there, we should have a preventive measures. Cabinet has approved the PLI scheme for IT hardware. This is a short news. I have already made a discussion to this news in our daily news and editorial analysis. I'll just give you the brief about this news. So the Union Cabinet approved the production link incentive scheme for IT hardware, and the period duration is for 6 years. क्या benefits होंगे? It will provide select companies on incremental cell and product manufacturing domestically. This will cover the domestic manufacturers, laptop, tablets, all-in-one PC, server, ultra-small forms of the factor devices. It is estimated that expenditure under the scheme is 17,000 crore over 6 years, and the program is expected to lead incremental investment of 2,430 crore, and even the creations for 75,000 jobs. So these are the benefit. Definitely, if you see the part of IT, it is booming, and in the longer run, it has a potential to contribute substantially in the job growth and even providing livelihood to a lot many people. So this was all about for the PRS for the month of May. We have a lot more other initiatives for you. We have a daily news and editorial analysis where I cover the news from the Hindu and Indian Express that will give you a comprehensive idea about the daily news. We have IS Guested Magazine, which is a must read for the current affairs. We have News in Focus, a new initiative where the specific particular news is discussed in brief to help you out to understand the requirement from the examination point of view. PIB will be released shortly, and the gist of Yojana and Kurukshetra. All this initiative will help you to sail through the journey of civil services. If you have any other concern, you can reach out to us. We'll be more than happy to assist you. For time being, I'm signing off. Thank you so much for watching this video.